sleepy, sleepy houses lying for square and Fred. Orange beams divide the darkness, the rumbling fit to turn in the waking world.
Welcome to the Broadsword File. I'm your host, Mike Pardee, and this is my co-host,
Michael DeBranco.
And here we are. It's our first episode, our intro episode for the Broadsword File, the definitive Jethro Tull podcast. This is going to be just a little intro episode. You're going to be able to find us on YouTube under the Broadsword File, as well as on Apple Podcasts, as they say, wherever you get your podcast. Basically, the history of the band, music, instrumentation, studios, lyrics, all the songs on all the albums. Probably won't cover like Bursting Out that much, except maybe to look at some little bits about it. We're going to have some specials. We want to look at the solo albums, right? We'll look at the solo albums and some of the bands that are associated with Tull, like Mick Abrahams and Blood Went Big.
Correct.
So, what is the first time you heard Jethro Tull? What was your first song? You remember?
I think it was Something's on the Move.
Ooh,
Off the K-Tel The Rock album.
no kidding.
Yes.
No kidding.
And then I spent the summer with aunts and uncles, and one of my cousins was a Tull fan. And I think probably the first full Tull album I sat and listened to was Songs from the Wood. And I remember looking at the back of the cover with the turntable that was on the stump, on the tree.
Cool
stump.
picture, isn't it?
So yeah, that's my intro to the Jethro Tull.
I'm embarrassed to say my intro. I really am, because I was heavily influenced by disco for some reason. I used to listen to a lot of radio. I love radio.
I didn't know that.
No, yeah, I love radio. When I was a kid.
What happened to you?
Well, I'm going to tell you if you let me.
Okay, all right.
When I was a kid, I used to listen to a lot of radio, WABC, all those things. I love radio. I still do. It's the shortwave, all that kind of stuff. But I used to hang out with one of my cousins, Tim. You know the old Timster.
Yes.
He is Mr. Disco. He knows very knowledgeable about disco. Oh, yeah, Tim knows his disco. He's from that time period. He's like,
wow.
Well, he's in the 60s now.
Yeah.
The disco crowd. No offense if you're a disco person. And so I was used to that ordered, 2/4 kind of disco beat, and the whole thing, and it really, I never felt comfortable in it because I'm not a dancer. I can't dance, especially if I don't have a guitar on me or something. The last time I danced was at my wedding, and that's only because my wife would never forgive me if I didn't. Sorry, honey. Anyway, but well, what about you? Did you dance at your wedding?
Yeah, of course.
Were you embarrassed?
No.
Oh, all right, never mind.
No.
Yeah. So I was into the disco thing, big time disco. And my brother, who was a big Tull fan and very knowledgeable in music, and also a musician, he sat me down one time and he tried to get me to listen to Songs from the Wood. I don't think I even looked at the back cover. He just handed me the thing and he's like, "Check this out." I'm like, "Who the hell is this guy? What the hell kind of name is Jethro Tull?"
Right, dude sitting in the woods.
Yeah, exactly. Who the hell is this nitwit sitting in the woods? Is he watching that fire? So, first Songs from the Wood. I'm thinking, what is there? No music in this? What the hell is this? So I was just like, I want to listen to this shit. I was trying to borrow my sister-in-law's copy of Saturday Night Fever, and I wanted to listen to that. Oh yeah, I apologize for having to say this out loud, but it was a long time ago. I mean, it was back in the last century, let me say that. So anyway, years later, I'm hanging out with his younger brother, Jeff, and he has this 8-track he found. It's a green 8-track, and it was found out in the weather. It was all wet. The label was gone. All you could see was a bit of the word chrysalis, and it was green. And some of the tape was damaged, so he chopped about 3 feet out of the 8-track. So songs would just suddenly change to another track, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And it was the Aqualung album, but I didn't know that. And I was listening to this album, and I started listening like Cross-Eyed Mary. Oh, that's a good tune. And then Locomotive Breath. Yeah, that's good rhythm. That's really cool. I like that. I thought, no, I understand it. I dig it. And then, at the same time, I remember that I used to listen to Queen. my brother and older brother and
Right,
sister have all these albums. And it reminded me more of Queen than any disco type stuff. I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. So one day I was out back digging a well. If you've ever had to dig up a well, you know it can take a couple hours, and you want something to listen to. And back then, what I used to do was I'd take the speaker from the record player, stick it in the window,
Yeah.
and I was looking for some records I hadn't heard before, and I picked up my sister's copy of Bursting Out. I was like, oh, these Jethro Tull guys. Let me see if they're any good. And I put that on, and then as I'm listening to it, I'm hearing songs that I know I've heard before. And I'm like, where the hell have I heard this before? And then suddenly it dawned on me, oh, this is that 8-track my cousin found. Yeah, my idiot cousin found this.
Oh.
And holy. And then I was like, oh, well, they're not so bad. And then, it was like a whole.
What was your first
concert discovery?
Crest of a Knave tour.
Crest of a Knave at the
in
Civic Center?
Poughkeepsie, yes, at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center with the Fairport Convention, I think.
Yeah, that's right, Fairport. I had either front or second row seats for that. That was the weirdest experience. I could tell you all about that too, man. People were lined up overnight for the tickets. And at first it was like unlimited. And right before I got up to the window, I'm like getting tickets for like 8 people, or 9 people. Right before I get to the window, it's me and my brother-in-law Bob. We were up all night standing in line listening to the new Pink Floyd album.
Yes, I believe
which had
you
just
got me
come out.
my ticket. I think you were.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you got me a ticket for that show, as a matter of fact.
And I gave up my front row seat to my brother so he could have a front row seat. At least I got to sit in the second row. Some other people we got tickets for had to sit back further because they would only let us buy 4 tickets when we got there. And then so we had to get back at the end of the line again.
The old days of buying tickets.
Oh, it was a pain in the ass, man.
Now you could just pay triple the.
Not to mention, remember when you'd be standing there waiting?
On the extra more on the.
Remember you go to a place like Ticketmaster and you'd be standing there waiting, and they were punching out tickets for their buddies at the same time.
Yeah.
And selling them for God knows what.